honored there are so many people here tonight. And many of you I've gotten to know mainly because of Lon Peressa and Rodney the Rocket over here. And you know, one of the great things about everyone knows that. In fact, I asked Lon, how come they call him the Rocket? He goes, because he only has one speed. I said, what's the speed? He said, slow. But that does not define Rodney in my mind. And you know, I've seen him in action helping me on my campaigns. I've also seen him in action down at Hawaiian Homelands. And you got a first-rate employee there who keeps, I think, the whole department on a straight and narrow ship in terms of money and finance. But the other thing, you know, I was in a leaky place. Our law firm is there. You guys were in a leaky place. So I got to see you in the elevator, and I used to come up and talk story with Lon. Lon helped me in my first run for office in the State House in 2002, and he used to always tell me, Caldwell, what's 1 + 1? I go 2. He goes, no, it's not, it's 3. And he was trying to tell me that 2 parts, if you do it well and put it together, you can actually get 3 or 4 or 5. And it's, you know, the synergy of running a campaign. And Lon was my grassroots of my campaign. He was the strategist, he was the guy that coordinated it. What are we trying to point to?
Auntie Helen.
Auntie Helen was the Energizer Bunny. But Lon really got me to where I was. And I liked Lon so much that when I got to the house, I asked him, hey, we got to all work together. And we talked to Calvin Sayem. You know, maybe Lon left the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, but he went to a place that really needed him. And he does a great job in the State House as a Deputy Sergeant at Arms. He's one of 2 people in the House who can actually arrest you. So he's dangerous, but he uses his power with a lot of discretion. Rodney and Lon also can throw really great parties. They threw a lot for me at my house for campaigns, and also when you invite all the House of Representatives now from time to time. But you know, I'm honored you're all here, partly because of where a lot of you come from, the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. And I wanted to stress the fact that being around people like you helps tie me to the Aina. Because I think it's so important to be grounded in where you start in any race. And I'm totally grounded in this community. Before I announced publicly last Thursday that I was running for mayor, I went to Waipahu, my hometown. And I went and I talked to a group of people there right by the sugar mill, because our house was right behind the Philcom Center, and the hospital where I was born was right across the street from the Philcom Center. It's been torn down now. After I was born, they tore it down. For me, it's, you know, the Japanese have the phrase moto, right? Return to your village. Don't forget where you come from. We all come from somewhere, and that somewhere shapes who we are. And Waipahu shaped who I was, who I am to this day. Also, Hilo did. I moved to Hilo when I was 5, but 2 very small rural plantation communities who I learned, you know, the value of community, the value of working together, the value of teamwork and helping each other. And that's what I've been doing all my life in one way or another. And I found that when I ran for politics, it was the greatest job I ever had. My favorite job before that was working for Dan Inouye. My wife, you can ask her when we were first married, it was like getting up, going to work. You couldn't have held me back. I wanted to get there. But it was working to do good for Hawaii, right, from Washington. And when I ran for office, I felt, man, I now can go down there and actually do it myself. Instead of helping the senator do it, I could do it myself. And if I screwed up, I could blame myself, but if I did good, I could also feel really good about it. And for me, it was all about public service. And I liked it so much that I looked to do it at the city level. And I even loved it more at the city than at the state legislature. The legislature I love the most, you can ask Lon, I love debating issues on civil rights, anything. Whether it be pay equality for women, whether it was the issue of same-sex marriage or death with dignity, or any of the other civil rights issues. I was passionate. I thought, I can't believe they're paying me to get to do this. But going to the city for me was all about rolling up your sleeves and getting things done every day to make a difference in people's lives. And Hubert Min, who was the Deputy Director of Enterprise Services, knows, and that runs the zoo and the Blaisdell and a lot of other things, knows you can do things every day at the city and actually make something better. And it could be a small thing. Like I felt good if I got someone a new gray bin because their old one broke, or filled a pothole, or repaved a street, or worked on our massive sewer infrastructure, or helped move mass transit forward, because I do believe it's a way to respect our Aina and have a smaller footprint. I know that's highly controversial with a lot of people, and I totally understand and appreciate why. But it was about knowing that we were working together as a group, making a difference in people's lives every single day, so their lives became better. And also building for the future. You know, my dream for this city, and what drives me nuts, part of the dream is this, you know, you'll hear Peter Carlisle say we need to be the Geneva of the Pacific during APEC. Other guys say we got to be more like Shanghai. And I say, why can't we be more like Honolulu? What's the matter with what we are? We're all proud of what we are. Whether we were born here or just moved here, we all are here because of the things that make this place special, and it's what makes us special. It's not just the mountains and the ocean and all of that. It's us. The blend of all of us is what makes this place so special, what keeps people here and brings people here. And so I think we got to be more of what we are. And that's being the aloha spirit, it's respecting the aina, it's living sustainably, it's about remembering our neighbors, it's about living together, it's about celebrating life with our families. And so my vision of a Honolulu for the future is one where we are more sustainable, that we actually preserve our outlying lands by developing our urban lands by going vertical. Putting in better infrastructure, whether it be rail, whether it be our massive sewer infrastructure projects, whether it be off-street bike paths. I'd like to see that, so people can ride safely to and from work and to the beach and everywhere else, but going either both Eva and Diamond Head and Mauka Makai from the valleys. It's about smaller pocket parks along with our bigger parks. You can sit in the neighborhoods with your families and get to celebrate life, so that we can slow things down a bit and feel a little bit better about why we're all here. And so that's what I want to do with all of you. And I can't win without all of you. This campaign, we have 3 people in the race now. This campaign is going to be won by the ground war. Everyone is up for re-election. Every House member, every Senate member, almost half of the council. You got a huge Senate race, right? Democratic U.S. Senate race. You have a U.S. House race. And so money is going to be sucked up everywhere. But those who have the best ground game to get people out to vote, to get people to know about me, and to make sure they turn out to polls will make the difference. And it's critical because you know what happened to me? I'm not a career politician. I was in my 50s when I first ran. And I actually think that's a good thing because I know what it means to try to survive in the private sector and the difficulties. So when you pass laws and do things, I know what the impact is on all of us. But the point I'm making here is that people didn't know who I was, and I became mayor 45 days before the election. And in 45 days I sprinted. And on election day I lost by less than 0.5% on those who just voted on election day. I lost a total of 4%, most of it in absentee voting. That a lot of people vote absentee now, almost 40%, in the early part of the election before they saw what I was doing. And when I was mayor, they saw me running to problems. I never said, oh, that's not my problem, it was Mufi's problem or Harris. I said, I'm the mayor, I accept the problem, I own it, we're going to do something to try to make it better, and if we can't, I'm going to tell you we can't and why and what we need to do to try to fix it. And so that's what I did every day, and I think people saw it, and that's why I think I got close to winning. This time I've started earlier. It's not 45 days, I announced last week, January 12th, and I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can. With you working with me, and you've signed the sheet, I think we can get there. And I think people are going to be really surprised. I'm one of 3 people now running. Peter Carlisle has not yet announced, but we know he's going to run. But I've been in office a total of 6 years. Carlisle served 14 years island-wide as a prosecutor, and Ben Caetano, as he likes to say, has been in office for 34 years. So we're going to make the difference by having the best ground game. And I think being in the communities, I want to be in the communities with you. I want to go to every neighborhood. I want to get to meet people. I want to understand the issues in your community, because at the end of the day, governing is about the details. It's about solving the problems in your individual communities. So that's in a nutshell. Some other just important factors is I'm married to a woman named Donna Tonoi, who I think is still at work tonight. We have one daughter named Maya, who's a senior and just finished her last college application, will be going away to school, and it's kind of bittersweet because your kids grow up way too fast. And a couple years ago when she really grew fast and I'd come home at night and she'd be in bed, I would Sometimes saying, who is that woman sleeping in Maya's bed? She became a woman overnight, and I tell her in the morning, Maya, slow down, don't grow so fast. And she'd look at me like, what are you talking about? And I'd tell her, I want you to stay a kid a little longer. But anyway, I was born in Waipahu, raised in Hilo, went to Hilo Union, went to Hawaii Prep in Kamuela. I hope you don't hold that against me. One of my classmates is right over there. Say hi to everyone. So it was a good school for us. I went to college on the East Coast. I went to graduate school on the East Coast. I worked for Dan Inouye for 4 years. I worked in Sao Paulo, Brazil for 2 at the Institute of Sugar and Alcohol on their ethanol program when Brazil was just starting. I'm very passionate about alternative energy. That's part of that living. It's more sustainable. I went to the William S. Richardson School of Law. I clerked for Chief Justice William S. Richardson, who this woman is related to. Can everyone say hi? She was married to the CJ's brother. And then I went to Ashford and Riston for 30 years. I was in the House for 6. First 2 years, Vice Chair of Transportation. Next 2 years, Chair of Labor Committee. Last 2 years, I was the Majority Leader. And I loved every part of the House, every part of it. And then I went to the city as the Managing Director and then as your Acting Mayor. And so I believe you deserve better than what you're getting now. And I want to give you what you deserve better.
That's for sure.
Thank you.
Hey, right on,
Thank you.